The guys at American Muscle Cars have been improvising on a tight wire. They've been scrambling for parts. In this state-of-the-art world, you gotta wonder where the snapping point lies, and no computer can resolve something that primary.
Even though we had a shopping trip and picked up about 80% of the parts that we need for the Impala, that other 20% is gonna start to be a real pain. Oh, we have an engine and frame on stands, that's good. Everything else is good?
Unfortunately, there was a development, and it started at about 8 o'clock this morning. We did not end up having the correct motor mounts, so we began to go on a hunt. Our local parts source delivered us 3 incorrect motor mounts. This is the third set that we've actually got today, so we're hoping that these ones will actually work. We ended up utilizing the third and modifying our original frame brackets to fit. We did this by cutting the tabs that were on the engine mounts. We then shaved a little bit off of the tubing that separates those tabs, then welded the tabs back in, which brought us in about 3/16 of an inch overall. Hey, Warren. All right, so we both have part number 2283s here.
Okay. We tried to get some motor mounts, and we had a problem with the distance across the boss on them, because we had a 2 5/8 boss, and we could only find 2 3/8. We ended up doing a lot of digging trying to find some motor mounts to fit.
Oh, hey, Mark, what's up?
Here's your gearbox.
Just in the nick of time, too.
The engine mounts have come from 2 different sources, one US, one offshore. So we can't get this one to fit into the receiver.
Most of the cars that I build, I actually like solid mounts. You're building a car with horsepower, lots of muscle, and I like to feel the power through the car. The steering box that I brought in was a brand new item, and it is a new retrofit box to allow quick ratio power steering in these early cars.
Just getting the new steering box and mounting it to the frame means we can continue to move forward on the build, while Warren hunts down more mounts. At least we thought this would keep us moving forward.
Are the spacers and adapter?
Unfortunately, like everything else today, that turned out to be a bust as well. The original box has a flat mounting surface onto the frame rail, and this one doesn't actually. It has a convex curvature to it. When we realized we didn't have all the components to complete the steering box installation, we quickly turned to another avenue that we needed attention, which was the third link on the air ride suspension. The air ride suspension upper bar is actually completely flat. It's straight. The original has a curvature in it to clear the axle housing. So as the suspension cycles all the way up to fully compressed, the bar was actually hitting the axle housing. So what we needed to do was actually create a bar similar to the original, which had a curve in it.
And we get to play with some cool new tools.
Well, everybody loves the tubing notcher. I mean, really, it's just a crowd favorite. But no, the tubing notcher is a way to simplify our job. It makes it a lot more efficient. Carlos had to actually notch one side because the notch was too close to the curve in the bar. So he did that by hand. That ended up taking probably almost total 15 minutes to a half an hour. Whereas the second one, which we could use the tubing notcher with, took us a matter of 1 minute to 2 minutes. You also have a perfect notch when you do it that way. The fit is perfect, and so the contraption worked. The rear end actually needs to come over this way, and since we only have 1 tack or 2 tacks on there, I don't want to do too much movement with it.
Okay.
Getting stumped on parts means we have some time to experiment. This job probably would have been addressed weeks down the road. From despair comes opportunity.
These days happen in this industry. That's just the reality of the situation. You just pray that you have them a lot less often than you have good days.
Just because we didn't have an adapter plate for the steering and we didn't have the correct motor mounts doesn't mean that we couldn't find something that we could do right.